Novelist Clyde Edgerton has 4 kids. The youngest is 6. The oldest is 30. Go Clyde. He has opinions on everything, from spanking to how long you have to wait to have sex after a baby arrives. His book is called Papa Daddy's Book for New Fathers. You really don't need to be a parent to be into this book. All you need is a good sense of humor. Clyde Edgerton joins us at the table.
And where do you think he's from?
He's from North Carolina. So instantly, Charlie Rose likes you. But I want to give give people a sense of your sense of humor, Clyde, because in the book, I was cracking up yesterday. For instance, you say, do the car seat ahead of time. It could take 6 to 8 hours. Baby's head may not look right after birth. It will take a day or 2 before it looks normal. And my favorite of all, Satan's gift to earth, talking toys. Which is so true. Anybody who has kids no longer wants to give a talking toy. You would agree. What did you do when you had a talking toy at your house? Go ahead, fess up.
Well, it was a little plastic toy that said, "Good night." Each night after you turned out the lights, he wouldn't talk while the lights were on. So I put it under the back car wheel and backed over and heard the plastic scatter on the cement. It was a good sound.
The bane of my husband's existence is toys with batteries, because of course, you know, you got to replace the batteries. So
right.
Yeah. This is actually, I was a little dubious when I first got this book and then read through it, and I think it's great. It's really a how-to to new dads about how to help your wife after a new baby and things to do with your kid that maybe nobody would tell you.
Well, I think I learned some things that I hadn't read or hadn't heard about and just accidentally learned them, and so I decided to write about them. And I think for a new dad, it can make a difference, and even for an older dad, they might get some new ideas.
And you're both.
Yes, I am both.
You're a new dad.
An old dad
and you call yourself a considerably older dad, Charlie, is what he says. Go ahead.
Is it easier later with, you know, each time you have a new child? Does it get easier?
You mean to make the child? Or to... No, I'm sorry. Just kidding.
Oh, my goodness.
No,
you sat at the wrong table, my friend.
That's right.
In many ways, it is. I think if I weren't healthy or didn't feel healthy, I would worry about, you know, but you learn from past mistakes, I think, and I believe that you see what you didn't see before.
And things are changing too. I mean, how do you look at spanking, for example?
Well, I don't suggest that parents spank.
Even though you were spanked, Clyde.
I was spanked as a child, but I don't think it hurt me all that much.
I'm with you on that, by the way.
I'm writing for a wide spectrum of parents, and I understand that it's a very complicated and tricky subject. And there's so many things you can do wrong as a father, and there's so many things you can do right. And so I suggest how not to spank in the book.
Can I go through some of the specific tips? I mean, you have a section here on in-laws, okay?
Yes.
How should you react with your in-laws trying to get involved in parenting?
You should always use the word I, not the word you. Say, I'd rather you not give her that popsicle while she's crying, rather than you better not give her that popsicle or I will kill you. You use the I.
That doesn't go over so well. I'm very fascinated by your own personal story, though, because you have a daughter who's 30, your youngest is 6. So how did that happen?
With 2 marriages.
With 2 marriages. And when you got married the second time, did you think, I want more children? Because it is unusual for somebody at 68 to have kids this young.
It is unusual. And I didn't think specifically about that. I just went about living a normal life, and the kids started coming. One after the other.
But this is the thing that never changes for a new dad. When you drive home after you have the baby, you have this combination of extreme ecstasy and deep worry.
That's correct.
Talk about that. I think that's so true.
You know, the reason I wrote about that in the book, I'd early suggested that not really a cousin, but a person I use as my cousin, rather than using a little fancy bassinet, he used a cooler for a crib. And so when you're driving home and you're worried about like rats getting at the baby, they'll have a harder time eating through a cooler than through wicker.
You also tell a funny story about the crib, which is also assembling the crib.
In the middle of the night, one night, I finally finished putting it together, and it was wonderful. I was in the living room, and I started rolling it toward the bedroom, and it wouldn't fit through the hall door. And I said, I've got to write about that.
No, and sex after the baby's born?
2 weeks to a year.
2 weeks to a year, you decide. Okay.
We don't want to go there either.
Thank you, Clyde.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I try not to talk about sex on this show.
Yeah, we never do. Never.